Welcome. And today's conversation will be about and with the Southern Delaware Orchestra. And I am fortunate enough to have both co-founders with me, Jim Anderson and Steve Greifer. And I wondered if we could start by asking you, either one, what attracted you to the genre?
Well, sure. I'll begin. Thank you, Sharon, for having us. My journey in classical music really began back when I was 7 years old and started taking piano lessons. And that led to a really extraordinary, enriching life of studying music all through high school. I played trombone in the marching band and then cello in college, leading to 3 degrees in classical music. And so it's been a study that has taken me all over the world, and I've been really greatly blessed.
You really needed to start this organization with all of that wonderful background. Steve, how about you?
Well, I'm more on the amateur side than the professional side. As I like to say, I sit in the back of the second violin section and try not to play in the rests. But I've been playing music since I was 9 years old, when I started taking violin lessons. And I love classical music from when I was a child. My parents played music in the house, and I would listen to everything from Beethoven to the Great American Songbook, as well as pop music. And in fact, my first concerts that I went to were classical music long before I started going to see the Beach Boys and folks like that. So I played in high school and in college and in pit orchestras and in post-college Northwestern University orchestra, and also played in community orchestras soon after college and throughout my life. And coming down to Delaware, there really wasn't a community orchestra in existence. So Jim and I and our other co-founder, Eva DelGallo, found the opening and created the orchestra.
Sure. And Sussex County and the beach communities are exploding. Lots of people have moved here from other places, and I am sure they are thrilled now to know of this great cultural offering. How about the founding here? How did you come together and pull this off?
Well, Jim, I'll grab the beginning of this one, since I was there in the beginning and then you soon thereafter joined us. I moved here about 1.5 years ago, and as I said, I had played music after a short 30-year gap. I had been playing music for a few years, and I wanted to play string quartets or duets, or just find people in the community who wanted to play music together. And I put a few posts up on Facebook, and soon 30 or 40 people responded and said that they wanted to play some chamber music.
Just like that, right?
Just like that. So there was a big white space here and a lot of desire. And it was really Eva who raised her hand and said, let's forget about the chamber music. Let's start an orchestra.
Oh my gosh. I'm throwing this one out. Where do you rehearse? What space do you use?
We were as lucky to find rehearsal space as we were to find Jim. We rehearse every Tuesday night at 6:30. And by the way, this is a recruitment call out to people who want to play with us as well. We play at the Cheer Center in Lewis, the Harbor Center in Lewis.
What a great spot.
It is a great spot. And they've been so gracious to us, and it's really been a great place for us to get together. The third leg of the founders really was Jim, and Eva and I recognized the importance of having a great music director to lead a group like this. The enthusiasm and the players are very important, but if we don't have someone to lead us, then the experience isn't quite what it could be. So we had the bright idea of calling Jim, who runs orchestral studies at University of Delaware, and asking him if he knew anybody, if he had any students who he might suggest that might join us. and might lead us. And as the three of us really talked about the vision for this organization, I think Jim started thinking, gee, maybe this is something that I want to do instead of passing on to one of my students. And
Sounds
that's
like
what took place.
Sounds like the perfect lead-in, Jim. Are you another newcomer to Lewis or Rehoboth or?
Well, I've been in Delaware for 12 years now at the University of Delaware, and I've always had a passion for community orchestras. I've started them before. I started one right out of my undergraduate studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And it was basically just a reading orchestra to give me a chance to interact with the people in the community, to make music, to study new repertoire. And I took that as a stepping stone and did my master's there, and then my doctoral work up at the Eastman School of Music, where I formed another community orchestra that is still in existence. And so I feel like these sort of activities of engaging in the community is something that's really valuable. And yeah, when they asked me about if I had any students, I said, wait a second, this is something I would love to do, because my family loves the Southern Delaware area. We vacation down there. We have friends in that area. And so it was very clear to me, especially in my role at the university, that there's very few string opportunities in Southern Delaware. And so the creation of this orchestra, we provide an ensemble for people to come together and make music together, which has been. There's a thriving artistic community in Southern Delaware.
There sure is, for sure. Now, did this mean you had to stop following the Grateful Dead, or you still enjoy all kinds of music, I'm sure?
Oh, well, yeah, now maybe he was with the Grateful Dead in the songbook, but Led Zeppelin was where I cut my teeth. So, and I love all music, absolutely.
Sure. I'm just pulling your leg a little bit here. All right, let's talk about how the public can engage then with SODELO. Who wants to jump in?
Well, community, as you know, Jim talks about SODELO as a community orchestra, and our involvement with the community is really where we started. And we started in with the community of musicians that came together to play under Jim. And we really have a family feeling going with the orchestra there, and we've continued to grow. And that is really where we sort of started as the way for people in Southern Delaware to be involved. But then we obviously expanded. When you get a bunch of musicians together playing music, they want to play for people and they want to play for audiences. And we've been really fortunate to grow exponentially in our audiences, as we've played now 3 concerts since we started.
Wow.
A little less than a year ago. And we also are in the middle as an organization of thinking through different ways that we can address the fact that string music and classical music are somewhat underserved in Southern Delaware, although there are great organizations like Coastal Concerts.
Yeah, I saw one at the Episcopal Church in Lewis. I guess it was a couple of years ago. It was absolutely wonderful. Well, where can we catch you? When is your next appearance?
Well, we have a concert coming up on August 5th at Epworth Church in Rehoboth. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. A program that I've loosely constructed on the Boston Pops model, where the first half of the program will be a little bit more classical oriented, and the second half is a focus on the American Songbook. And so that should be a wonderful concert.
Oh my gosh, it sounds just terrific. And I'm sure you're posted all over the place down there, so folks can figure out how to get tickets. And
well,
also, sorry.
No, people can get details by going to our website, which is sodelomusic.org. And while they're there, they can sign up for our mailing list, and we will reach out to them as the concert gets closer. And as you said, we're posting and marketing and reaching out in the community. So we hope to attract an even bigger concert audience than we did when we put about 500 people at the Rehoboth Convention Center a month or so ago.
I suspect you're going to be increasingly successful with this idea in Sussex County. And the hard part's going to be turning people away that when they don't, reach that standard to play in the orchestra, dusting off the violin or the cello. But you do also want to hear from people who'd like to join, correct?
That's correct. And it's a wonderful cross section of the community. We have some students in middle school and high school that are exceptional musicians and have joined us, but all the way up to people who have had a 30, 40-year career and are retired and they decided to pick up an instrument again. So I hope that we'll always preserve that reflection of the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I will look forward, Jim and Steve, to seeing you at a concert.
All right. Well, we hope to see you there.